What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Thank you for coming over to the DFS 5-pack. If you could do us a big favor and click the thumbs up button, we wouldn't be mad about that one iota. Hopefully everybody had themselves a good night last night. If you didn't, today's a brand new day, and if you did, let's keep this bad boy rolling.
It's what you got to love about DFS, specifically NBA and MLB, I guess. Like, there are always more games the next day.
Yes, there is. That's why it's important sometimes remember not to chase, because you can just get it back the next day, as opposed to like throwing all your money into a late night showdown just because you're pissed.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, that's for sure. No doubt about that one, guys. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Drafters. We are going to do a draft later on with some of our customers. If you haven't played on Drafters yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, guys. It is a ball. Give it a whirl. Our promo code is DFS5pack. Appreciate you using it. But even if you don't, I got a link to our Facebook group for Drafters below. Come join it. So we post when we're going to draft. Come play with us. We'll do today's on video. We do lose almost every single day with about a dozen or so of our customers that play on a daily basis, guys. You see our screen names up there. If you want to be on our friends list, just send us a friend request on Drafters so you can be on us. Come battle us head to head. Just come play in our group, guys. It's fun. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited to get one today, man.
Absolutely. It's monthly Monday, $20 off monthly memberships. I'm going to get back to our web developer after this, and the price increase will happen this week. So if you get into the $30 monthly prices right here, you can keep that for as long as you want it. You will get both sports next month when they're up and going. You can get into the Discord channel, but the price goes up ASAP. So today would be a great day and take advantage on monthly Monday.
Let's get it.
All right. So Cash Lock is interesting because our mutual favorite to after is actually going to be the top guy I want to talk about for Cash Lock. So instead, I do want to dabble and discuss the Charlotte Hornets. So PJ Washington was big time for us last night, and I want to talk about how we want to look at this game early in the day. There's a lot up in the air still. Devontae Graham, Cody Zeller, and Gordon Hayward are all listed as questionable. My gut tells me that if Hayward and Zeller didn't play yesterday, there's a good opportunity that they're not going to play today. Now that could change. No doubt about it. This game is later than the other games by 90 minutes. So it is entirely possible that we don't know this thing. The one thing that we agree upon right here, like 100%, is the Charlotte-Portland game has the highest upside for DFS of any game on the slate. It's also a tough one to navigate because if Charlotte is real shorthanded again, you could see this being just a game where they come and die after an emotional big win last night, being shorthanded and tired on the road and everything like that. But the upside in this game is real, and PJ Washington is scorching hot right now. It is I don't care as much for him if Devontae Graham plays because he's also questionable. I care that Gordon Hayward is out. That would take a lot of his shots away from him. And Cody Zeller, because this allows Washington to play down at the 5 where we like him a lot better. Right now, Bismack is playing like biz crap, so I don't really want to have him on my short list as much. But Washington, who was great for us last night, is a guy I'm very, very interested if Zeller and Hayward are out.
You love basically everything Washington right now. PJ, the Wizards, the list goes on. I'm with you. So, I mean, listen, if Hayward and Zeller are out again, it's really hard to get away from PJ Washington here. We saw him last night. Wasn't as high owned as we thought he would be. You mentioned it. It's a very tough spot to navigate because we don't know about the injuries. It's the only late game. And as you also so eloquently mentioned, this game has a ton of upside, but a lot of risk because, Charlotte played a really hard-fought game last night. They ended up winning in the final seconds. Washington and a bunch of other guys played massive minutes. Could easily see them, crashing down today. Probably, I don't know who's more talented, right? Charlotte's probably more talented than Portland right now. With no McCollum and no Nurkic, I'll definitely give it to Charlotte. That being said,
if Gordon Hayward and Devontae Graham are playing, then they're more talented. But as these teams go tonight, it's hard to say, right?
It's very hard to say. You still got Portland coming in as like a 6-point favorite. I think that if this game is competitive, the upside is sky high here. Washington, you never expect him to have a game like he did last night, but man, in a good matchup against Portland, if those guys are out, it's hard not to just lock him in all formats.
That's true, guys. So keep your eyes on this game. I think, we've mentioned it 3 times already. I'll bring it up fourth. There's a lot of upside to be had right here, and it deserves a lot of your attention on a night where This is not a slate loaded with crush spots. I know you
Nope.
like the Brooklyn San Antonio game a lot, and there's definitely some pieces in play there. We'll get to one of them next. But there isn't like crush. There's like games here that I can basically cross off. And if it wasn't for the fact that a bunch of the other games are ugly, it would be even easier to cross off. So this game's got a lot of upside. And I can get on board with a real one, real aggressive right here, especially if you don't find things out and you might have to make pivots at the end of the night.
Amen.
All right, next up, DeMar DeRozan from the San Antonio Spurs. And I think what's important here is even though Brooklyn's playing better defense, every time you go up against them, you get a team's best shot.
No doubt about that. No one's talking about, people have talked about Devin Booker and Sabonis. Big all-star snub in DeRozan, having a really, really good year. Look at the numbers. San Antonio's in it in the Western Conference playoff race. We saw him come back from the death of his father and play really, really well, and I expect another really good effort from him here. His price is up a little bit. That will just keep people off of him. You've got another guy, Victor Oladipo, who's basically the same price point, getting a ton of love. I mentioned it in our members-only video. I like DeRozan a lot more today. And as you mentioned, a get-up spot for the Spurs. They're still shorthanded. He's going to play big minutes here. We saw his upside against the Pelicans. Not going to be surprised to see another 50 spot from my boy DVR.
All right, moving it down the list. Damian Lillard. So it's kind of a mutual favorite of ours today. He's going to be popular for all the big reasons that he deserves to be popular. One, coming off a couple days rest. Big losers of 4 straight, coming off of an embarrassing loss against the Los Angeles Lakers. Just kind of got worked in that game, did not play well. Expect a better performance from him today in a very, very good spot against, kind of a tired Charlotte team and everything like that. This is not a slate riddled with crush spots. So while you almost, you don't love spending over 10K on Dame, he's definitely got an abundance of games, minus CJ McCollum and Nurkic and the boys, where he succeeded off of this price tag. It's a big upside spot against Charlotte. This whole game has massive upside. And if this game is competitive, I expect Damian to have over 50 with, 60 being a real possibility on a slate like this.
No doubt about it. In a real good spot without many other good spots as we talked about. If this game stays competitive, I imagine it's because of high scoring. Dame will smash here.
Absolutely. He should smash in this one. And even if Portland rolls, I still think he has like a baseline floor in this game because they're going to roll with Portland scoring. Like this is just not a game that's going to be 89-97.
Doubt it.
All right. Next up, Jared Allen, cover boy for the day. Speaking of those Houston Rockets, they're terrible. Losers of 11 straight, and most of these games haven't even been remotely competitive. Coming off one of the more embarrassing losses that I can remember from any team ever. I mean, they were down 50 yesterday early on. They were just awful, awful, awful. Now, I don't expect them to lose by 50 again today, but that's actually better for Jared Allen, who, if you just look at his name, I can understand why nobody would want to spend $8,500 on him because his name does not seem to warrant a price tag like this. However, what we've seen over the last 3 weeks is this guy has a lot of games where he plays at like almost a pace of 1.5 DraftKings points per minute, a ton of block shots, one of the premier shot blockers in the game. He's scoring points. He's being better offensively. I think he's actually made 3 games in a row to double-digit rebounds every single day. Houston doesn't actually have a center. They're going to be running like Patton and Tucker out there trying to stop Jared Allen. We just saw him absolutely trounce this Cleveland Cavaliers team, whatever it was, a week ago, maybe even less than that. He's projected to get single-digit ownership again today, so he's not a long shot to play well, but he's a guy who's going to get overlooked today for, the likes of like Enes Kanter are going to get higher ownership than him. I expect Allen to smash again here. Cavaliers, coming off of 3 straight wins. I expect this game to, I don't know. If it's a game, that's good for Jared Allen. I do not expect Cleveland to get rolled because why would I ever expect the Rockets to roll on anybody at this point? I think the sticker shock just comes from his name doesn't seem like it, but if you go back the last 3 weeks, he deserves this price with the minutes he's playing.
Yeah, man. It's wild to me that he's projected for such low ownership. He's been playing so well. He's Houston team. We talk about it all the time. There's different ways to use the long shot. This is not like a cheap guy that's really under the radar, but he is kind of under the radar in the sense he's not getting enough love. I'm with you. There's other, spots we like better on this slate, but man, you're telling me Allen's going to come in under 10% owned? Yeah, I'm interested.
All right, next up, speaking of guys who, again, not a long shot to play decent minutes, but a long shot based on ownership. Like, what is Terry Rozier's ownership going to be today? Like 1% maybe?
Yeah, can't imagine a lot of people go there in the late game with unknown injury news after he played like he did last night. This is a classic DFS play for me, though. I love going back here. He wasn't popular last night, but he got a decent amount of tournament love because everyone on Charlotte was like not high owned. A bunch of the guys weren't high enough owned, but they all got a little bit of love. Rozier won't get as much love as he did last night. And again, I think it's really risky because he hasn't played well the past couple days, but the upside of this proposed ownership is real. We saw him with 50 plus, like in 3 or 4 straight, as recent as last week. I love that he made his last 3 last night and got fouled on his next 3-point attempt, made all 3 free throws. So scored 6 real life points in the final minute of that game. Was a big reason they won. I like the confidence going into tonight. And just kind of another example of what we talked about. If you want to stack this late game, it gives you outs. There's a tons of plays in this game that you can pivot to if we hear that like Hayward's in or Zeller's in and Hayward's out, whatever it might be. The more players you have from that game, the more ways you'll be able to go.
Yeah, if we find out like Hayward and Devontae Graham are playing, then our interest in a lot of the Hornets guys just basically goes away.
Right.
So we expect him to be shorthanded today. Even Graham hasn't played in a hot minute. And this is a guy like I was riding Scary Terry for about a week there. He was dropping 50 to 55 on a nightly basis, playing like the best player up on the Hornets. And today, like you're going to get nobody using him. But you're right. Like he played well in the last minute. Coming today a little bit more confident. He's a guy who comes and goes with his confidence. When the 3-point ball is falling, he gets much more aggressive on the defensive end of things too. That's when the steals and the assists starts coming in as well.
Amen to that, man. I completely agree.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Come play Drafters with us. You know the name of the website. We mention them all the time. Come get on our friends list. We're going to do a draft on here on video later today. If you want to come play with us, let me know right away.
Thanks, guys.